What are some tips that you can give our listeners that are raising kids in separate homes? First, when it comes to the other parent, and then secondly, when it comes to the child or children?
Yeah, for sure. I actually made some notes about this because it's such a big area that needs a lot of attention, and there's a lot to it. The first thing that I'll say is have kindness and patience for yourself. A lot of times, we get so wound up in thinking that we need something to change overnight. And if it's not changing overnight, the experience, then, it's not going to change ever. And so just remembering that these things take time, that we're rewiring old beliefs and patterns and conditioning that, depending on how long a relationship may have lasted or how long this experience has been going previously, it could be years and years and years. And so it takes time. And then to get into some of the really specific stuff about it, the first thing that I would recommend is deciding, like sitting down, going back to journaling, sitting down with a journal and a pen and, closing your eyes and breathing and like really connecting to your heart and thinking about what does your most ideal co-parenting world look like? Like if you could wave a magic wand and have any type of really healthy, loving, exciting experience as a co-parent, what does that look like? Because then from that place, you can start to pull out the details, the small little details and like the traits and the characteristics and the habits and the practices. And you can start to make a list and get really clear because this process will actually make it more real and possible to then create it. And it's kind of the roadmap idea because you have to know where you're going to actually get there. You have to kind of know the way to get there. And so this process just creates clarity. It gets you really connected to what does that even look like in, an ideal world. Yeah. From here, I would say start to practice. And this isn't to imply that someone hasn't been practicing this. So for the people that maybe are practicing this, I would say just go deeper, but practice radical honesty and vulnerability. So often in these parenting relationships like this, we have an ego and we're still operating from the relationship instead of from the parenting or the co-parenting. And so we have to separate that. There has to be a divide, and you have to separate what the relationship used to be and step into this new place. And the new place of conscious co-parenting involves radical honesty and vulnerability. Dropping the ego and remembering ultimately that both parents want the same thing. They want healthy children that thrive, and they want to be great parents. And so in that place, you can start to actually show up as your most real and most authentic self. The next thing is huge. And I think that this actually changes, this may be one of the most important first steps, because what it does psychologically, it changes everything. It's stop calling your former lover your ex. I talk about this a lot on some of the stuff I share on social media. The label or term ex implies separation. It divides, and it doesn't have, it's a negative label. It doesn't have anything positive attached to it. So instead, view this person and call this person as your co-parenting partner. The term partner implies partnership. It implies team. And co-parenting involves that you're co-creating this experience together. And so just that subtle change in just a label that a lot of people would never think of.
Instead of X. Is that
I usually say my children's father.
Yeah, and you can do that too. And I would invite you and others to consider, so what are you avoiding? Like by saying my children's father, that's not necessarily unhealthy at all. And like, where can you take that? Like what would be, so if that's above X, like what's maybe higher, and how healthy can you place and view this person? Because as we all know, the labels and the names that we give people determine how we view those people. And so that's really what this is about. It's positioning ourselves to be viewing, this person as that highest version of themselves in the parenting world, in the co-parenting world.